Hi, my name is Mati Gelman. I'm a fine art photographer and I'm based in New York City. And my work has been a journey, just like my life has been a journey. I always had a vivid imagination and I was always exploring other worlds, whether in my head or in science fiction movies and books, which are my favorite. But I was not always an artist. I actually started in science. I studied chemistry and I had my master's in chemistry, in organic chemistry actually. And I did that for 7 years. So my fascination with how things work, how things combine, and how we as people can put them together was something I always explored and I was always fascinated by, and especially when it comes to the natural world. Since chemistry, we are talking about combining different compounds to create something new that has a new function, something that didn't exist before. And after a while, when I was in science and doing it, I felt something is missing. I needed to explore something more spiritual. So I turned into the arts that were always kind of living inside me. But I decided to take a leap of faith and I picked up a camera and I started taking pictures. And I realized that me taking the pictures was a very technical aspect and I did not really enjoy what I was getting because something was missing in the pictures, or it didn't turn out the way I wanted. I wanted it to mean what I felt and the complexity of what I was feeling. So I find myself taking the pictures apart. My process is fully digital. I use Photoshop to basically create collages. I take the photos apart and then I combine them in different ways to create something new with a new function. Kind of like what I was doing in chemistry. I was taking compounds and I was combining them to create something new. And I think this is a good metaphor for my life because I was born in Hungary, and when I was 6 years old, my family moved to Israel, where I grew up, and in 2016, I moved to New York City. So my home is everywhere basically, or nowhere. My life has been immigration. I lived in 3 countries. I speak 3 languages. That's also how I look at life. Immigrants typically would work very hard to try to fit into the new place that they are in. And this is something I think I express with my work as well. I need to make it fit. I need to make myself fit. And it's part of my journey of the dissection of the world and making something brand new. I am greatly inspired by masters like Salvador Dali and René Magritte, and also a lot of contemporary photographers that use surrealism as a tool to communicate with our own subconscious. And it's through art, it's a very good tool to explore our own minds, especially with surrealism, that we can use symbols and talk about meanings of things or describe what I feel about something. So symbolism is a great tool for me, and I put it in every single image that I make. I make sure that everything that is in the image has a meaning and there is a reason that it's inside the photograph. And also a lot of things that I take out. Post-processing is a very big part of my work. This is where I communicate. This is where I want to put the feeling into it. This is where the symbolism has to be stitched together perfectly so that it feels right for me, that I did what I wanted to do. Another big part of my work is the natural world, is the connection to nature. I think that is also have to do with my background, how I want to connect to the ground I'm in, how I want to feel the natural world around me. That said, I think my art is an intersection between technology and nature. I feel like this generation of artists, especially artists that work with technology and the internet, there is a feeling of a disconnect because of the internet, because the world has opened up so much than what we were able to contain before, that we are looking for something grounding, either another person to be in our life more permanently, or the disconnection from ourselves, which is a big problem as well in our generation. It is very important to me to have my work tangible in real life and not only virtually, to try to reconnect with nature. That is part of the reason we really like to have a lot of plants in our house. We really like to have pets, connecting back with animals, etc. Additionally, I work with dancers because I am fascinated by the human body. They are all over my work. Most of my models are dancers, and the reason is because I love working with my own body. I like to explore the way it feels, and part of it is because I live my own dream of really wanting to be a dancer through other dancers that I photograph, because I could not be a dancer since I have a really problematic back. So dancers have always been a vessel that I use to connect to the ideas that I have, to the ground, to our own body, to each other. It represents a great deal of physical endurance that I had in my life, in my journey as an immigrant, but also physically with my own body. My characters tend to be in some state of suspension because it represents change, it represents a path from beginning to an end. A big part of my future work is going to be creating photo series, in addition to creating images more inspired by the classical surreal style, where we have a lot of elements physically represented in the image, whether it's different characters or whether it's a lot of symbols that are together. I am striving to get there with my new work. I'm striving to put even more elements in one photo so that it really feels like one framed story from beginning to an end, where the viewer can just get lost in everything inside the image and explore what it means and how it connects to the other parts.